Hey guys, it's Spaces Sims, and we are back with more Charade Maniacs. And last time the game had the balls, maybe, I think so, to kill Akase. Although Futami said some shit to him in the middle of their scene, and now I'm curious, what did he say? And like, why did you say that knowing that it was going to probably push Akase over the edge? Unless whatever he said was in the line. You know what I mean? Like, I know, blah, blah, blah. And for some reason, that just made, like, Akase snap. You know what I mean? It kind of came across, and that was my initial impression that, Futami was like, oh, yeah, I know you do, sir. Or said something purposely trying to goad Akase, but, like, maybe the line was like, I know you're the traitor or whatever, and that's the line that was in the script. We don't hear what it is because he whispers it to him, but then Akase for some reason is like, wait, and it just kind of triggered whatever he's been dealing with. So like maybe it legitimately was not Futami's intention to say something to goad him. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm just reading the script, and Akase flipped out. What the fuck? We don't know, and I doubt we're gonna find out in this part. We'll probably find out later and whatever, but it's kind of interesting because Futami could be totally innocent, just read the line 100%, or it could have been purposeful. And then if it is, it's like, why would you purposefully goad Akase? Interesting. I don't think Futami's obviously, we're on the okay. Doesn't mean he's not a little suspicious for whatever reason, but it's kind of interesting because that's something that I would expect Gyobu or Haiji to do, you know what I mean? Because they're fucking the evil, right? They're like, we're on that sus train. So, like, Futami, though, curious. Interesting. But I like that the game killed him, and it's like, oh, there are stakes. There's really not. Well, we know after Iochi's route, we're going to be able to get him back. We'll find his data center. It'll be fine. He'll be fine. His body's on Earth. His data's floating around in a databank somewhere. It's fine. On the SD card. It's cool. We'll get him back and it'll be fine. But, for the fake tension, I'm here for it. I'm glad they did this, so cool. Good job, game. Anyway, I was back on the other side. How was I looking at Futami next to me? I didn't even know anymore. What was certain, however, was that things were completely different. I was shaking for an unknown reason, yet my hands wouldn't move the way I wanted. Futami! I heard Iochi say something in a tone I'd never, ever heard before as they ran down the stairs. Drama music. Oh my god, I think my computer sound went up. Holy fuck, it did, but like, damn the tense music! With that voice, I finally realized that I was sitting dazed in front of Futami. Was something even said? Everything seemed to happen beyond my consciousness. Oh, Iochi's pissed. Oh! I love that Iochi is so tiny and Iochi just lunged himself at fucking Futami. And in the next moment, Iochi was grabbing at Futami's collar. Iochi has to reach up a little. I kind of want to see that CG of being adorable. An enraged expression felt all the more distinct. What is this? That's how you supported him? I can't be angry, Iochi. I can't do this voice angry. I'm sorry. What great support that was indeed. No, please calm down, Iochi. What's worse is how you're just so calm about this. Do you even understand? And because of what you did, Akase is... Everyone had gathered in the living room by now. Everyone except Akase. Huh. You're kidding, right? It's just that easy? Just like that. Why? I stood up to go to Akase's room. I tried to, but Dazai stopped me. Selena, even if you go to his room... I won't stop you if you really want to go, but you'll just be in for a surprise. Surprise? His room is gone. The furniture that was there still exists, but everything belonging to Kyoya vanished. Huh? Did we have anything that belonged to us, really? It was just us that got here, so, like... Please wait. Please let me... No, please let me... Please let me... Please let me talk to the director before we quarrel among us. Butcher, I'd like to speak with the director. Yes? What is it? About the drama earlier. There was an improvisation by Futami, wasn't there? Yes, there was. Oh! So Futami really did say something to set him off. That improvisation was a bit extreme, wasn't it? Wasn't it straying far away from the original script? If that caused Akaze to be unable to answer it, I think this responsibility lies with Futami. Huh. Futami laughed a little upon hearing that, but he didn't interrupt. It was the director who responded first. I'm really curious now. Ooh, this is not like I read the line and he flipped out. It's like you purposely said something that goaded him to freaking out. Ooh! We've decided that it wasn't terribly far from the original script. But also the theme of this drama is justice. It did not stray from that theme, and the viewers all enjoyed the developments. That's why the cast should have continued to act. It's just so... Is that all for your questions? If so, then I'd like to end it here. Wait! That conclusion is wrong. I won't allow Akase to... I understand how you feel. However, every cast member has been flustered by the first dead end each time. We cannot deal with it on your terms, so I'd like to end it here. Huh? What does that even mean? Yuchi's voice echoed in the living room as the call with the director was cut. Anger, confusion, despair. That was what filled the room. Can you let go of me? Yuchi then dropped Futami as if throwing down a piece of trash. That's kind of funny considering that Futami's like a head taller than Yuchi. Like, seriously! I fucking love it that Yuchi, like, lifted this man up and is like, fine. Yuchi continued to glare harshly while regaining some composure. But, like, I mean, this doesn't make you look good, Futami. Shit. I thought I told you yesterday I wanted everyone to provide as much support as possible. And you agreed to it. I sure did. Then why did you improvise like that? And the script should have ended there. Why did you continue the act like that? Futami remained silent. Seeing him look away awkwardly, I spoke up by reflex. Don't defend him! I know he's boyfriend, but like, this is actually intriguing. Alright, okay, look. I'm still mad about the way, like, he ended up here, but but the route's pulling it out, so. I think still shaking and couldn't think straight, but I had to say this. It's because you thought it would raise his points. Is that why? Yeah, that has to be it. And then you gave Futami an out to go like, yes, exactly what she just said. That excuse won't work this time. It's obvious to everyone here. It appeared to be on purpose to me. No one agreed with me. They all looked at Futami coldly in the same way Yochi did. Futami he's so kind. He said that he was willing to cooperate for the sake of Akase. Brother. Futami said the same thing as before the drama started. Does everyone think the same thing besides Sena? Just like Chigasaki said, I should be the one to take the punishment game. However, what he said after that was so cold and divisive that it seemed to come from a different person. Unfortunate what happened to Akase, but it's hardly my fault. Akase was at 0 points. I was improvising to make it easier for him to boost his points in upcoming scenes. It was like I'd thought. However, nothing he said gave me relief. No, because it sounds like he's taking what you said and using that as opposed to, no, I wanted him to die. It's like, yeah, I totally was doing that, but he's so cold the way he's saying it. What's wrong with that? Even if it ended in failure, what's done is done. Can't be taken back. And maybe he literally was. He was like, I thought it would help him, but it's kind of like, you really shouldn't have done that, though. Not in this case. He wanted to get some points, so as long as he got some points and did the base, just the base level of, I read my lines, he would get some points. Then the next one you do like, okay, let's improvise a little to get your points up higher. Then you talk about it with him. You don't just do this when he has 0 points and his life is on the line. This was the wrong time to do it. And legitimately, Futami could have been like, yeah, I didn't really think about that. I was just trying to get him the most amount of points, and that was a bad idea. Everybody makes stupid mistakes. It could very well have been a stupid mistake, but I'm kind of wondering. You know? I mean, I feel like that's probably the way it's going to go because it's Futami, and I don't think he's evil, and I don't think he would do something evil. But I also think like now with everyone being like, oh my, like he just comes off as very cold about it. It's like, well, yeah, because all of a sudden you're like, I just fucking killed him. You shut down. And I can see Futami be like, no, I didn't mean it. It's more like, yeah, well, it's not my fault, and he didn't do it, and okay, I'm done now because it's easier to shut yourself off than embrace the guilt that you should have at this point. You know what I mean? Because he tried to do something good and it ended up terribly, and that's harder than just like, you know what I mean? Like, oh man, so I think he's kind of just shut down. I'll lean that. If he's sus or he's like shady or he did something wrong, then that'd be kind of fun, but I don't think so. It can't be taken back. Wow, saying that right now is a bit much.
Well, Futami, Ayochi isn't the only one who's upset right now. Are you gonna continue pushing that excuse?
No, I don't intend to push anything. Just wanted to say that was my intention. At least let me give my reason why.
Well, I understand that, but
do you even understand this? You're so naive. I don't understand at all. Everyone was just being harsh with each other, lowering the temperature of the atmosphere in Arcadia, where it's always the perfect temperature. But no matter what's said, Ase is already gone now, right? No one answered me. The living room fell completely silent, and Iochi heaved a big sigh.
while we're here, I will ask you directly. Futami, are you the producer? Or the sponsor? Answer me!
Nah, sweetie. No way. He responded with a sneer. Futami didn't say anything else and simply left. I mean, I think it's actually kind of interesting if it is that way, where like he was like, okay, I think I'm gonna improvise and get him the most points that he could, and then he fucked up because again, it's not the time for it. You do the minimum, which is get through the act. He'll get some kind of points for it. He's not gonna get negative because all they want you to do is get through the scene. He gets through the scene. He might only get 20 points. Okay, you only have 20 points. But as long as you don't do anything stupid, and then the next time we go through, let's improvise, let's do a little bit more and get you more points, he would have been prepared. But you threw him under the bus. You know what I mean? So, did you really do this out of the goodness of your heart and fuck up because he wasn't prepared for it? Where like you did a good thing, but it was a bad decision for a good reason? You know what I mean? Or is there a sus reason behind it? I honestly, it'd be kind of interesting if there was a sus reason behind it, but I lean more toward maybe he was actually trying to do something nice, but, fucked it up kind of a thing. And now he's just shut down because it's just easier to shut down and be like, it's not my fault, then I just killed someone because you're in a life or death game and having a mental breakdown right now is not good. We saw what happened with Akase. Like, just said, no way. Is that all? I wanted to follow him to ask, but my legs refused to move. We were all left behind there with emotions that had no outlet. We all sighed or grieved, and it's also harder because you're like, Akase's just gone. Is he really dead? Like, he's just disappeared. He just literally disappeared, and that's almost harder because you're like you have no closure. And you know what I mean? Oh, Akase dead. You should know, you shady fuck! Sorry. I didn't have the energy to even answer Haiji's question. You fucking know. You acting all fucking innocent and childlike, you shady son of a bitch. Kinda hate him. It's turned so fast. Well, it's the creep factor behind it, like pretending to be a child when you're probably not. Like, no, It was always, I mean, it's kind of brilliant, don't get me wrong. It was always Akase who lightened up the mood for everybody in these situations. The following day, I kept thinking about how dreadful everything was. I was holding on to the despair of the previous day. Because Akase was the first to tell us to believe in everyone. He was the most serious among us about trying to find a way back to our original world. That's why he ended up taking the penalty. As the sun rose above the horizon, I started cleaning the lodging. I thought it'd be a good time to get my mind off it. Okay, what if... Okay, so we know there's a producer, there's a sponsor, it's the death game, blah, 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 we gotta do. But what if... Because, and then Iochi is here because not only are they looking for their brother, they blame themselves for all that, but then they're also trying to get the stream shut down, blah, blah, blah. So we know that. We know that they also have someone here who's helping them, right? Okay. Everyone, we can pretty much suss out Ibana is here. Well, I think that was pretty clear in Iochi's route with, right, Ibana? People have been here before, right, Ibana? And we knew something was wrong with Ibana's arm, but now we know Ibana's arm is completely missing. It's in a fucking glass case in that antique shop. That's pretty funny. But you know what I mean? So, we know kind of Ibana's reasoning for being here. Which, again, I feel like... Well, because that was more a Tomose thing. So, we found that out more in, what would have been a... should we have really found that out so early? But, whatever. It's fine. But we don't really know... Futami, did he end up here by accident? Tomose and I seemingly are here just randomly, okay? Right? We don't know, because we don't know until we go down Tomose's route if there was something else behind it, right? But everyone else kind of seems to have, there's some people who might be here randomly, some people who came here, Iochi came here with a purpose, right? Whoever they're conspiring with probably also came here with a purpose. Ibana came back to get his arm back. You wonder if, because of that, Futami might have just ended up here, but maybe it was one of those, did someone cut a deal with him? Was it oh, well, if you you'll get more points if you screw up other people or push them into punishment, to make it more interesting. You know what I mean? Because, that's a secret kind of rule. It's not where it's oh, try to fuck other people up, make sure you kill them. It's not like Squid Games where you're hi, you're gonna play marbles and you better win because the other person's gonna die. You know what I mean? It's not like that. They've set this game up oh, you just gotta be good at the dramas and then you'll get enough points to go home. But what if something or someone, obviously it would be the director probably, was oh, hey Futami, do you know if maybe they like seeing the dead ends, you know what I mean? Because the Arcadians are a little fucked up, right? Because whatever these jelly blob monsters are. What if there's they've come to people in secret and we're so if you get people to screw up and get punishment games or dead ends, you'll get more points. And Futami at first was yeah, I don't really give a shit, and now wants to get points to go home. So purposely kind of fucked up. It's shady and nefarious like that. That'd be kind of disturbing, though. But he could redeem himself by oh, well, we can find their data and bring them back. It's cool. You know what I mean? And did Iochi not know that in the very beginning of, till the end? It was oh, yeah, no, we can get them back. I don't think Iochi knew that. I think that was at the very end of the route. When Iochi had to make a choice between us or their brother. It was kind of the director was oh, yeah, no, we got everyone's data and everyone's here, so that's not something Iochi would know right now. I'm going to pretend to be pissed at you, but I know his data's somewhere. He doesn't know that. I mean, they don't know that. You know what I mean? So, All right. Anyway. Ah. But that was the wrong choice in retrospect. Sorry. So that was the sun rose above the horizon. I started cleaning the lodging. I thought it'd be a good time to get my mind off it. But that was the wrong choice in retrospect, as my mind started to wander with different ideas since my hands were working in silence. In the morning, whenever I'd wake up early and go to the living room, Akase was always there, saying that he was up early to go out on a run. He said he wanted to live as close to the same life as he did back in our world. He was always so cheerful and positive. It hurt. I didn't want to simply let what happened become the past. I didn't want my time with Akase to vanish. It's unfair that those moments were all it took for him to vanish without a trace. I can't take it anymore. Right after I mumbled that, I heard a sound behind me. I turned around and saw Chigasaki seemingly hesitating on whether or not to enter the living room. Here's the thing, we didn't read what Akase found out. Chigasaki's and my eyes met, and he smiled and bowed hesitantly, as if left without a choice. Sorry, I thought about just quietly leaving, but... No, I'm sorry for making it harder for you to come in. I was just cleaning, so don't mind me. For me to help. I'm not as good at it as you are, but if you don't mind. I hesitated a little, but accepted his offer. Chigasaki didn't really start a conversation with me during the time that he was cleaning. We only talked about what was cleaned or what needed cleaning. Kase's name wasn't mentioned even once. When I went to go change out the flowers in the vase, and I wrapped up the wilted flowers in paper, Chigasaki picked up the vase in my place. Yeah, I'll change the water. I'll throw away these flowers, and suddenly, tears started to flow, despite how I was simply cleaning. I didn't want to accept it, so I tried not to cry. For some reason, they wouldn't stop. Emotions flared up deep within me, and I started to sob. I couldn't suppress it any longer. I knew it would trouble Chigasaki if I cried. Thought I knew it. Chigasaki had returned and quietly put back the vase where it was. He then gently spoke to me. It's there for the time being. Get flowers for it another time. I'm sorry. I could only respond to him with teary eyes. I took out a handkerchief to hide my face, but my tears drenched it in no time. I didn't know I could still cry like this. These oddly strong feelings kept me sobbing. In that time, Chigasaki just remained beside me in silence. He's sitting there like, do I pat you on the shoulder? Do I hold your hand? Do I hug you on the... What do I do? He's like, do I leave? Like, sorry for crying all of a sudden. No, it's all right. Even after my tears subsided, I felt embarrassed to look at Chigasaki straight on. Chigasaki's expression then suddenly changed. Dina, please don't lose. I don't know how else to say this. I felt confused as I looked up. Chigasaki's gaze was gentle, yet straightforward, backed by a sort of passion. I have to return before they take anything else. I will do anything for that. Before your mind is broken down, I want you to get back home. Chigasaki spoke haltingly, causing me to want to cry again. I mean, why are you so adorably sweet? This isn't your route, sir. Stop tempting me. What are you hiding? You cannot be this adorable and sweet. He's kind of always there. I feel like that should make you, if I wasn't already sus of the other two chuckle fucks, this would make you so suspicious. Because, like, wasn't he like this in Iochi's route too? He just kind of shows up and he's like, hey, what's up? Like, is your little friend? And then he disappears and you're like, why are you always there? You think Tomose would always be there because he's your, like, stalker childhood best friend. But Chigasaki's, like, always there, like, patting you on the shoulder, like, there, please don't die. And then you're like, stop being so nice. Like, don't, though, I love you. Like, you have to actually stay the fucking cinnamon roll, though, okay? You can't be some shady son of a bitch. You have to just be the cinnamon roll. Somebody's got to be honest. Right? But he's always like, but you know what I mean? He comes out of nowhere with these little things, and he's always just kind of sweet and a little, like, I don't want to say shady, but it's like he'll say little things like this, and you're like, what are you hiding? What do you know? Are you just really nice? Like, where you're like, I don't trust you. I trust you, but I don't. Like, I still feel like there's something suspicious about it, but it could just be you're just a cinnamon roll. And this is making me suspicious of everyone, but I managed to suppress that so I can nod in response. I felt I'd cry if I even tried to open my mouth. I mean, I definitely don't think he's super sus, but like, I want to just believe you're literally just a cinnamon roll and there's nothing else behind it.
Sorry. I still don't know whether I can do it, so I might be overpromising.
That's not true.
You. Oh, that's right. There's a place I'd like to go with you to confirm something.
What is it? That sounds suspicious when you phrase it like that. I want to go somewhere with you to confirm something. I have something to show you. Oh, do you?
Dana, did you see the message that I sent you yesterday?
Oh, not yet. I wanted to hear it from Akase himself.
Do it right now. I hate myself because I sort of expected this outcome.
I quietly opened up yesterday's message. These are the subjects that Akase was going to report. That was the message title. Relation between the producer and sponsor. I continued to read, and the details were as follows. The reason for rumors of the Otherworld stream are because of the sponsor acts as a pipe to Arcadia by spreading rumors. I think we already figured that out earlier in one of the earlier parts. In this route, sort of, but yeah. The sponsor appears to be transporting food and other rare items that are not found in Arcadia. The sponsor also transports another thing. Cast. But it's kind of interesting because, okay, so you have to think it's Gyobu or Haiji, right? Which one's most they're both more suspicious in different ways, but like, okay. But I'm just like trying to picture one of them doing this. Maybe that's why Gyobu doesn't want to clean. He's like, I don't have time to clean. I gotta go fucking cattle things back and forth. But you know what I mean? It would make sense if the sponsor, forgetting the cast, but like to be leaving while you're here as part of the cast, to disappear, to go down to bring back food and stuff as opposed to like request. It's interesting. And how would either one of them have the connections to get this stuff? Because they're both fairly young, so like, I don't believe for a second Haiji's actually 12. But like, okay, you're both like 16, 17, right? Because isn't Gyobu in our school supposedly? Well, then again, we don't know. We don't know. Doesn't he say he's in our class, but we don't know him and Abana doesn't know him, so like, 30-year-old man pretending to be 16, and then we got a 16-year-old pretending to be 12. Like, this is fucking weird. Anyway. The cast too? They're called fanatics, and there's also half-breeds among them. Details are unknown. Wait a minute. Sponsors are called fanatics, and there are half-breeds among them. What does that mean? As the name suggests, fanatics believe in the producer blindly and will work to help the Otherworld stream. That does sound... Would Gyobu be a fanatic about IG? That seems very weird. About not necessarily the producer in general, but the stream itself and what's going on here, that I would believe is very fucking shady. And he definitely seems the type of like, yeah, I like getting people here, and then they do all this stuff and it's all fucked up and weird. A fanatic about that, yes. About Haiji in particular, I don't think. I mean, okay, the thing is like Haiji is hiding a lot of shit and is just acting like a stupid child, right? Like. But like, so you're like, what does he have? What kind of charisma does he really have that Gyobu would be fawning? You know what I mean? So that seems strange, but... And I went to read more of it by touching the screen, and in the next moment... What are you looking at? Figured it was Futami. Chigasaki's face suddenly turned pale. Oh. It was Futami who was peering over the edge to look at the screen. I tried to shut it off reflexively, but he grabbed my hand. None of your damn business! Don't read our private love messages! Why can't you show me? Right, Chigasaki? Chigasaki became quiet and didn't respond. Futami didn't even have to answer any further as he read what was on the screen. They're dangerous people who do anything for the producer, so caution must be practiced. But see, I like what they're doing here. That, like, Chigasaki's like, Did you read that? Because I felt like this was going to happen. And like now after what Futami did, it makes him look suspicious like he's the sponsor. But I don't believe that. Because I mean, I already got the Haiji and Gyobu like sus train, you know. But I like that they're doing this where you're like, is it Futami? They do a good job, even though it doesn't ever eliminate my suspicion of the other two at all. I'm like, nah, you can't fool me, game. But I like that you're trying. I like that you're trying. You're trying to throw these red herrings and curveballs in here. It's not working on me. But good job for the attempt, you know? Is this about the sponsor? Yes, sorry. That was a little too rough grabbing you. I finally managed to distance myself from Futami to turn off the display. I'd avoided any contact with Futami since the previous day's drama, so it's been a day since we last met. He hasn't always been the kind to smile like this. With the Kase gone, Futami was being ostracized by the other cast members. Iochi didn't conceal their animosity, and others were cautious of Futami, which we're kind of being right now too. Haiji was the only one who didn't act that way, as he seemed to not understand the meaning of the dramas. Right, but see that right there! He's the only one who didn't act sus of Futami. Okay, that seems suspicious right there. Oh, because he doesn't seem to understand what's going on. Okay, that's the perfect ruse! Kind of fucking brilliant. Like, I hate you for it, for being like, okay, so he's baby-faced and whatever, and then, you know, but then he has his side-facing profile sprite, and you're like, but he's kind of pretty there, and then all of a sudden he's 12. Ew! What? But then you're like, you're gonna make me you know what? That's actually the most sus fucking thing, but that's exactly what they're doing! And it's brilliant, actually. Still, brilliant. Because you literally made me want to peel my skin off and take an acid bath with how gross it was at the idea that one of our love interests is 12. That's nasty. Listen, Futami's 24 and I'm 16. That's a little fucking inappropriate. Okay, it's a lot inappropriate, but whatever. It's a fantasy game. Fine. Whatever. You can, in your fantasies, do whatever you want. Like, oh, I'm the student and you're the teacher and I gotta stay after class. I'm like, ooh, okay. You know, for detention. You know what I mean? Like, whatever you want to do in your bedroom, folks, is fine. Because, like, that doesn't mean you're actually into teenagers. Because teenagers look like infants. Okay? Let's be real. But, like, so, okay, even though I'm not a huge fan of big age gaps, it's like, this is inappropriate because I can't quite separate the reality and fantasy. In the Atomic game, I'm like, 24-year-old and the 16-year-old is really weird. I know it's just a game, but it's still weird to me, okay? I can fuck my brother in the game. Like, I'm all for that. Because, one, I don't have a brother, so it doesn't make me feel weird. But also, it's not real. You wouldn't actually do your brother. But, like, this is a problem. Listen, we all have things where you're like, can't do that. Nope. And then there's other things where you're like, I have no problem with this because it's not real. Okay, it's valid, okay? Everybody's got a line. Okay, and some of them are wibbly wobbly, and mine is the age thing is not for me. I get over it, like we play these games, but I'm still like, nah. But even though it's like this is weird, but fine, whatever. I'm gonna pretend it's okay. The 18 and the 40-year-old is really fucking gross. 24 and 16. That's a little inappropriate, but whatever. It only bothers me when they keep mentioning it. Like this, like, I know it's in the back of my mind, but I'm like, I could just pretend, but then when they constantly like, well, you're when I'm an adult. Like, Iochi being like, when you're finally an adult. Okay, don't bring that up. Don't bring that up. Don't make it weird. Just let me pretend that it's not weird. Don't keep reminding me, you know? But Haiji being 12, that's disgusting and nothing will ever stop. Okay, that is so much more disgusting. That is so much more I want to burn the flesh off every single person who thought that was okay at all than 16 and 24, even though that's a bigger age difference. You know what I mean? 4 years is not a big deal. It is when you're 12. That's gross. Stop it. Gross. I want to light myself on fire. Which is the trigger response because you're like, no. You know what? That's actually really suspicious now that you point that out. Hold on a second. And then once you get past, I mean, it's still disgusting to me. And I still want to light myself on fire despite the fact that I don't believe it for a second. I think he's lying through his teeth. And this is why. He seems not to understand the meaning of the dramas. He doesn't understand. So you write him off as like an idiot. You're like, he's just a kid. He's stupid. He doesn't understand this shit. It's fine. And he's over there in the corner laughing at you because you fell for this shit. this. And actually, bravo to the game for doing that. Because, like, I think they knew. They're like, this is going to tweak people out when they're like, ew, what? No! Because there are no platonic routes. We're like, this is your friend character. No. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I mean, I don't think so. That's not how it was marketed. Like, oh, some of the routes are platonic and some of them are romancy. It's an Otome game. The whole point is romance. So, like, if they threw in other female characters where you're like, okay, some of the routes are more like bestie routes and some of them are romance, then that would have been pulled off a little bit better. You know what I mean? Then you could be like, oh, okay, his route's obviously one of the pal routes. He's my little brother. But you know it's not going to be that way, so that's disgusting, which makes it suspicious. But they were banking on people like me to be like, no! Ah! Just that trigger response where we're screaming in our head and we don't stop and go, wait a minute. You sus-ass motherfuckers. I see what you're doing, bitches. And that's exactly what they're doing. So. It's brilliant because every single time they remind me that, oh, he's just a child, it makes me want to curl up and light my body on fire. And it's brilliant. Brilliant! But again, that's why he's sus as fuck. So. He doesn't seem to understand the dramas. Right. Doesn't seem to. Chigasaki and I both felt wary as we waited for Futami's next words. I do like the fact that in Futami's route, though, we're like, I kind of distrust you right now. I like it. Though the sponsors believe fanatically in the producer. And there's someone who'd be so enraptured by the producer, then maybe this producer guy isn't such a bad person. And that makes you seem sus, too. Tommy, that's too... Upon hearing that, I yelled, interrupting Chigasaki. That's not true! Someone that let Akase die like that can't be a good person. That's outright impossible. A murderer can never be a good person. Just stab Futami in the heart right now. Futami, could you say the same thing if you were the one that was killed? Beats me. What do you mean by that? I haven't thought that far. But now that I think about it... He purposely let his eyes wander before looking back at me with a smile. Like, I like the fact that he seemed like really nice and now he's getting really sus. Good, like, again! I don't think he's suspicious at all, but I like that they're kind of pointing it out and making him like, well, maybe this producer's not such a bad guy, and we're like, only the fucking sponsor would say that shit. But no. Obviously not. That's not Futami, but I'm curious. I do understand. Murderers are evil. That I can certainly agree with. Why are you smiling? When I said that, I could tell that Chigasaki was gasping. You the same Futami that I've been talking with just the other day? You're like a completely different person. I am the same person, unfortunately. Unfortunately? I wish I was a different person. Like, what if there was another me until yesterday? I'm sure that you'd continue to believe in him. Isn't that right, Sano? That's... Tommy smiled at me one more time and left. I feel like now the smile is just like, yeah, I'm just gonna smile. Everybody's ostracizing me. I'm just gonna smile like it doesn't bother me when I'm crying inside. You know what I mean? Because, you know, I feel like a lot of this is a mask now. He went into the kitchen for breakfast, but then left soon after for his own room. Brother. Like I have enemies everywhere. Yoichi apparently was in the kitchen, and after Futami left, Yoichi also showed up in the living room as if nothing happened. I was thinking of making a Japanese breakfast, but do you have any requests? Oh, I usually don't eat breakfast, so... Nothing in particular. I see. All right, then. We responded to each other mechanically. I thought through the conversation from earlier over and over. Tommy's enemy. I'm his enemy? I mean, he has made enemies after what happened, you know what I mean? And again, I don't know if he did it on purpose or he really just did it. I mean, obviously he did it on purpose, but like, was it nefarious purposes or was it, I really thought that Akase would go with it and I didn't think that through and realize that he was gonna be stunted and stunned and kind of fuck up like that. Like, right motive, wrong place and time, you know? Even with the tense atmosphere, every day continued to change. And then I think his like nonchalant attitude is really just a cover because he doesn't want to accept the guilt and the pain that he feels and how upset he feels. And then now everyone's ostracizing him, so it's just easier to kind of smile and be like, "Fine, I'll be the villain that you guys want me to be," because it's no point in trying to like tell people how bad you feel or whatever because they're not going to believe you anyway. You know, that's sad. Interesting though. Even with the tense atmosphere, every day continued to change. Since the work with the cleaning team finished the day before in the morning, it happened to be all right. However, cleaning felt awkward again the following day. In the end, the cleaning team's no longer a team. Amase and Kyobu have both admitted to having a hard time working with Futami. They said there's no need to work together. They wanted to clean what was designated to them whenever they wanted without issue. They were right to want that, so Futami also agreed for us to begin working that way. We were the cleaning team because we all cooperated with each other. It made me feel even more depressed. I feel so lonely. Why do I feel so lonely now? Not just because I feel sad about how we're unable to stick together. Something else brought a sharp pain to my heart. Did you miss Futami because you liked him? You're the same Futami that I've been talking with just the other day. You're like a completely different person. I am the same person, unfortunately. Wish I was a different person. Like, what if there was another me up until yesterday? Sure that you'd continue to believe in him. Isn't that right, Sana? Yeah, because he thinks we're doubting him too. Just can't believe that Futami is the enemy. During the time that we spent together, Futami had encouraged me time and time again to save me. I don't want to pretend that never happened. I don't want to forget the kindness I felt then. I don't know which side of him is real. A part of him could be a lie. And so, I don't want to leave Futami by himself. I finished cleaning the living room after lunch and I glanced over at the kitchen. Iochi and Haiji had been cleaning up in there, and they came back to the living room after they finished. Wow. Good work.
No problem. It's our job after all.
Iochi's acting normally. Something about it felt awkward. I don't know what to talk about. Everything seemed to lead to topics about Akase. I'll be going back to my room now.
Sorry, can you wait? And there's something I want to ask you to do. Will you hear me out?
Oh, sure. I was thinking of going back to my room, but I couldn't refuse. Iochi sat across from me. After a short pause, Iochi continued.
And to tell you the truth, I was doing some research regarding the details of the Otherworld stream. According to what I found, dramas tend to take place suddenly at around noon.
Right, I noticed that trend too.
I mean, if we make the request ourselves, we can stream an additional episode of a drama at any time.
An additional episode?
And do you remember when you and Abana acted out a drama? If you make a request, you can stream the next episode on the same day.
I see. But is there a benefit in doing that?
There is. You can get points.
Oh, right. The streams only took place 2 or 3 times a day, but with Iochi's method, we'd be able to do even more dramas in a single day. Doing so would result in gaining more and more points every day.
Here's where things get important.
It's funny because it was always made to seem as if they only did it once a day. But I'm wondering if it's like, okay, I'm in this drama with Iochi, and then another drama is these people. Like, so there's 2 or 3 times because Iochi's not in 2 different dramas. I'm not in 2 different dramas. Like the one that Iochi, me, Akase, and Futami were in, that was one, and then maybe the next one would be like, oh, Ibana's in that one with Haiji and Dazai, and then there could be a third one, or you know what I mean? Like, oh, well, then technically the third one would be one that spaces in, but you don't get to do that. You know what I mean? I feel like that could have been a little fleshed out a little bit more, but, or just brought up a little bit more, but like, even though the dramas are the point, they're also not the point.
Here's where things get important.
What's that?
I asked the director if it was possible to bring someone back if they'd been punished with a dead end. For example, as part of a reward for accumulating the points.
Huh? How did he respond?
He said it wasn't impossible. However, no one has ever returned from a dead end, so he said he'd have to set some amount of points.
So it's not impossible.
And that's right, and that means there's hope.
Iochi nodded with determination, and I felt shaken up. I hadn't considered there'd still be that sort of hope left. Because obviously you're like, somebody dies, they're dead. You don't just get to like, can I wish them back? That's not how it works. Unless you live in magic. But with the technology and everything. But I wonder if Iochi started thinking, like, based on the technology that exists in this world in the future, and Iochi being like, huh. Well, actually, no. Iochi may have had some. I thought it didn't come out until the end of Iochi's route when they had to make that decision between us and their brother, right? But now I'm wondering though, because Iochi works for the Information Bureau, they know that our bodies are there, right? So we're here, but wouldn't Iochi know that like other people's bodies that have disappeared previously are at the Information Bureau, not just us? So like their brother would be there. You know what I mean? So they would have had a maybe they didn't know how it worked, but they would have had a suspicion. Like, huh, my brother's missing. His body's here, but I came up there, and then that you weren't sure how it worked. So this could have been the catalyst in this particular route for Iochi to ask. But it just seemed like the way it came out was like they didn't have a suspicion that you could bring. I don't remember how that went though. Maybe they mentioned that they had a suspicion that people could be brought back. I don't know. But anyway, I would think Iochi would have slight suspicion on that or be curious because they work for the Information Bureau. They know that the Information Bureau has our bodies, so they would have the bodies of the other people who died. You know what I mean? Like, and then where are those people and like whatever, so. Anyway, Iochi nodded with determination, and I felt shaken up. I hadn't considered that there'd still be that sort of hope left.
However, I heard that 30,000 points are necessary to regain the function of a body part.
30,000?
I was also told once more, since there's no precedence for this, it might not be possible to get them back completely.
Which, okay, is valid because the director and the Arcadians and all that have never tried doing that, so they don't know. And the Information Bureau has also never tried it, so they don't know either. But they have a suspicion it's possible. But and I think that came out in Iochi's route. Everyone was like, well, we don't really know, we think. And then we know it's possible because we did Iochi's route, but it's important not to lose hope. Right, Iochi?
I agree. No matter what the result may be, this possibility isn't something we can ignore.
You told everyone else about this?
Not yet. I was thinking of telling them at dinner, but I wanted to tell you first because...
Iochi's tone went from overjoyed to a contemplative calm as they pointed at me.
And do you remember how I said we can make drama requests? I want to earn those points quickly so we can make the requests as soon as possible. Among the dramas that I'm in, the romance ones with you in them are the quickest. There are usually only 2 cast members involved, too.
Oh.
And that's why it'd be a big help if you'd cooperate.
That's right. Although I had agreed to it, I didn't think that far. It was true that the only dramas I'd been in with Iochi are the romance ones. That's not true. The one that Akase died in.
Are you unsure of it? Of doing the romance dramas with me?
It's for Akase. It's alright. I'll do it. I'll also try to save lots of points. Because we could compile our points. But I think it's kind of cute that Iochi asked, like, hey, so you do realize that we're probably going to have to make out. That's fine. I'm not romancing you, but I will still fucking make out with you like a motherfucker. Like, what? I'll do it for Akase, and not because you're gorgeous and I want to make out with you.
And that's great to hear. Is it okay for me to talk to the bouncer to put in the request now?
Yes, please.
A bouncer! I have a request. I'd like to do episode 11 of Younger Girlfriend. Is that possible? Request accepted. Stream starting.
Or starting stream, sorry. Stream status. Drama starts in 1 minute. Stream content. Younger Girlfriend, episode 11. Genre, romance drama. Cast, Kurata, Mizuki Iochi, Serena, Spacey Sena. The details of the stream appeared with the script. The one flaw with the request was that there wasn't much time to read the scripts. I only have a minute. That's not enough time to... I'll end up just reading the script out loud. I thought it couldn't be helped, but then Iochi expressed concerns. Is something wrong? Do we have to get stabbed?
Only our outfits changed and we didn't move. I guess it'll take place in the living room this time. It'll be better if we move closer to the entrance.
Oh, really? I haven't read the beginning of the script.
You don't have that many lines, so it'll be fine. You can just leave it to me.
Are you sure? Iochi seems to be happy about this. Thank goodness. On the other hand, one thing worried me. Let's say that we keep doing this to save up points and somehow manage to return Akase. What will happen to Futami? We've been divided since. Futami would spend most of his day inside his room or outside. We didn't talk to him, and his name wasn't brought up. Even if we were to revive Akase, it would just create a larger rift between us. If Futami were to do something before that happens, something might change. Iochi, try to talk to Futami about what you said earlier. Talk to him? If we tell him that getting enough points might bring back Akase, Futami might feel differently about things. He may be like that right now, but I still can't believe that's what he really thought. That's why we should talk it out and work together for Akase's sake, too. I feel like you shouldn't have said this right now. You should have waited.
You want us to bury the hatchet?
Look at Iochi's gorgeous, pissed face. Yes, we're all cast members here. It's better than constantly antagonizing each other. We sound just like Akase.
That's impossible.
Iochi stated clearly and withdrew their hand.
Come here. The drama will start soon. The scene will start with us arguing. It was unplanned, but it's perfect for us right now.
Because he's pissed. They're pissed. Sorry. I feel like this is going to be the scene that we've already acted out with Iochi. Remember we were missing an Iochi CG? I think it was from this scene. It was from the drama scene, right? Maybe it's in one of the... Okay. All right. That might... Okay. Because I was like, where the fuck did we miss... How did we, like... Okay. I didn't really think about that we were going to be doing a drama and getting another, but yeah, that makes sense. Thinking that he was being disregarded, Kurata becomes angry and calls out Serena. Serena objects to it as usual, but Kurata doesn't back down this time. Their relationship starts to suffer. Right as the drama began, Iochi pushed me with both hands. I was up against the wall. I think this was the scene that we were missing a CG, so... Iochi glared at me and grabbed my hand so that I couldn't escape. I feel like now Iochi's taking their anger out on us after what we just said. We shouldn't have said it! The surprise and pain almost caused me to yell out loud. I was sure that Iochi was holding back, but it seemed rather ruthless for an act. When Iochi approached me so closely, it was more than enough to remind me of when they were angered a few days ago. It's scary.
I already told you numerous times. As long as you're my girlfriend, prioritize me. That's the rule.
The overbearing attitude almost made my voice shake, but I managed to suppress that to say my line. I don't care. That's a rule you made up yourself.
Then you won't mind me breaking the rules, too. I will tell your parents everything.
Not that!
And then obey me. Why do you even think we made that contract to become lovers?
But not for me to be scolded like this.
Huh?
Serena expressed hatred toward Kurata, but gradually opened up to him. Script said that she would eventually cry, too. I don't think I can cry on cue. I looked down to pretend to cry and try to get through this scene. You said I was your girlfriend. Why do you say these things all the time? If you'd have asked me properly, I would have told you why. I intend to prioritize you too, Kurata.
Really?
Why would I lie to you? I truly... She wanted to be with Kurata. Two were supposed to make up after she says that line. That's how the scene was supposed to go. However, Iochi held my hand with theirs and embraced my body with the other. I was held firmly and lifted off the ground, but the thing that made my mind go blank... I'm wondering if this is the other CG, the missing one, was when Iochi kissed my neck. Our bodies touched and Iochi's nose brushed my ear. kisses felt like nibbles as Iochi's warm breath tickled my neck. This is a bit much for, like, I know we're acting, but this isn't what we're supposed to happen, and we're not in your route. I was gonna say sir, but, like, I guess that's fine. Ma'am, sir, ma'am. Like, I don't think Iochi gives a fuck, but, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, excuse me, Iochi, but, like, don't get fresh with me. Don't remind me what I'm missing.
Lying isn't good. I don't tolerate betrayal.
No, hey! My lines and actions differed from the script. I tried to get away, but Iochi was so strong that I could barely even move my arm. Kisses continued, and my hand that was against the wall was caressed. Iochi's fingers touched me everywhere, and it made me feel strange. Because you like it? Again, this isn't your route. Stop tempting me. Please, stop.
And then you better remember this. Do as I say. I'll never forgive him. No matter what happens, I will corner him and pass final judgment upon him. Whether he's the producer or the sponsor, even if he's just an ordinary cast member.
Ooh, Iochi getting sexy and devious here. Stop it. It's not! Sweetie, this isn't your route! Don't tempt me like this! God damn it. You know, I kind of wish we hadn't gotten Iochi first, just because this would have made it, like, so much more irresistible. Stop it. I was suddenly freed and fell to the floor. My neck felt hot where I'd been kissed.
I also want to be with you more than you think. You just don't realize it. Why do I have to say this? I just wanted to know your feelings. I can't believe them unless I have proof. And that's why I couldn't help but...
I was still sitting on the floor when Iochi gently reached out to me with a smile.
I love you. I'm sorry I raised my voice, Serena.
Those were Kurata's lines, exactly like the script. Interesting. I like that we pissed off Iochi, and maybe that's quite possibly the other CG that we missed. So, does Iochi think that I'm siding with Futami? After dinner, I returned to my room and just stared out at the sky. I didn't understand how Futami felt, and when I pushed for us to make up with him, nothing but anger came from it. Iochi wouldn't be able to forgive Futami. Both would be hostile toward each other, and their views would always clash. This hurts because I love Iochi and I just want our man harem to get along, but from Iochi's perspective, it must have looked like I was siding with the enemy. Look, I haven't decided if Futami's coming to the man harem. Iochi absolutely is, because Iochi is gorgeous and we love. I don't even. Whatever queen Iochi is. I don't even know what kind of queen you are, sweetie, but you're there. Like, whatever. If the opposite of one's enemy is a friend, then that would make me Futami's friend. I made a tight fist and stood up. I had something I needed to say to him. I hear you, bird. I know it's getting dark. You're going to have to wait a few minutes. I approached Futami's room and took a deep breath. I went to knock on the door, but stopped when I heard a strange sound coming from behind it. Crying? That. I grew curious and knocked. Futami, it's me, Sena. There was no response and the sound stopped. He looked sad. After a moment, the door opened and Futami stood before me. Good evening. Are you busy right now? No, not really. There's something I want to talk about. So do you have time right now? If possible, I'd appreciate it if you'd let me inside. I'd gathered up some courage to say that. Futami's tense expression seemed to soften. In my room. Oh, it's okay if you don't want to. No, it's alright. Come on in. Futami welcomed me into his room, but he didn't seem too happy about it. Oh, guys, it's like time, but like, I think we're gonna stop here. I thought like we'd have a little but I'm like, this is gonna probably be a long conversation. I doubt it's just gonna be a short little thing. So we're going to have to wait till the next time. And even though we could go like 10 minutes over, my bird's screaming downstairs. It's because it's getting dark, but also I'm starving. So we're going to stop here and we'll have our Futami conversation next time. So I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.